There's really nothing quite like that incredible journey of pregnancy, is there? That deep sense of anticipation, the sheer wonder of new life unfolding. And I think every expectant parent shares that really profound desire, that hope to know for sure that their baby is healthy, that everything's developing just perfectly. We've come well, a long way with imaging. Ultrasounds give us those precious first glimpses, right?
Yeah.
And even MRIs offer much more data. But truly understanding the intricate, like the 3D development inside the womb, that's always been a huge challenge for, human interpretation alone. So today we're going to take a deep dive into a really groundbreaking machine learning system that's been developed at MIT. And this tool isn't just a small step forward. It seems like it's truly transforming how doctors can examine fetal development. It's bringing a level of detail, a precision to prenatal imaging that we've quite literally never seen before.
That's exactly right. And the core problem this tech addresses is fundamental, really, but also incredibly complex. You see, while an MRI gives us what we call volumetric data, that's basically a full 3D data set, hundreds of image slices, the human eye, amazing as it is, really struggles to process these complex 3D scans with the kind of diagnostic precision you actually need, to catch every subtle detail, every potential concern. Imagine trying to build a perfect 3D sculpture just by looking at like a huge stack of super thin 2D pictures. That's sort of the challenge doctors do. And this is precisely where AI, artificial intelligence, steps in. It bridges that really critical gap between all that raw, complex data and, well, actionable insights. Insights that can change lives.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. So, in this deep dive, you're going to learn exactly how this incredible AI system manages to turn those challenging kind of flat scans into these rich, almost sculpture-like dynamic 3D models. We'll explore the accuracy it achieves, which is frankly astonishing, almost unbelievable. And we'll get into what this could mean, not just for, say, early detection and monitoring, but maybe even for our broader understanding of human growth, across our entire lifespan. You might actually be surprised by just how impactful this technology really could be. So when we think about checking on a baby during pregnancy, most people, they immediately picture an ultrasound, right? And let's be clear, ultrasounds are absolutely invaluable. They give us those essential first glimpses, determining the sex, tracking basic growth, spotting some of the more obvious potential issues. But when doctors need a really detailed look, maybe for complex cases or if they suspect something specific, they turn to MRI magnetic resonance imaging. MRI gives that much deeper, that volumetric data. It provides a richer picture of soft tissues, organs, much more than ultrasound usually can. But like you said, the big hurdle has always been interpreting all that complex 3D data effectively. It's a bit like having this huge library, but no way to find the specific sentence you need.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is the specific solution MIT developed to tackle that exact challenge. So MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, CASAIL, as it's known, worked with Boston Children's Hospital and Harvard Medical School. And they developed this system they call Fetal SMPL. It's a deep learning system. That means it uses these really sophisticated neural networks, you can think of them as layers of algorithms, to find subtle patterns in huge amounts of data. This lets it learn and interpret information way beyond what older algorithms or even the best human expert could manage consistently. And the origin is quite clever, actually. Fetal SMPL is adapted from a popular 3D graphics model that's used for capturing adult body shape and movement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the original is called the Skin Multi-Person Linear Model,
Yeah.
SMPL for short. So they took this state-of-the-art approach for understanding adult bodies and very skillfully applied it directly to fetuses. That's a pretty significant and frankly ingenious leap in medical imaging.
Wow. Okay. That is a really significant development. Taking an existing framework like that and applying it to such a completely different and complex challenge. So how does it actually learn? How does fetal SMPL create these incredibly detailed, almost sculpture-like models you mentioned? It's not just looking at a few pictures, I assume.
Not at all. It processes truly vast amounts of data. We're talking more than 20,000 MRI volumes.
20,000.
Yeah, each one representing a full 3D scan. And that covers over 7,000 individual fetuses.
That's incredible.
It is. And from all that rich, complex information, the AI learns how to construct these really intricate digital models. Models that capture the fetus's precise shape, its posture within the womb.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think. You said it moves beyond just static images.
Exactly. These digital models aren't just snapshots in time. They're actually driven by a sophisticated virtual skeleton. It's composed of 23 distinct joints.
A virtual skeleton.
And this virtual skeleton lets the models realistically mimic fetal motion. It gives you a dynamic, moving representation. So imagine seeing this digital twin of a baby in the womb, not just still, but actually moving, shifting, showing its posture almost in real time.
Wow.
That level of dynamic visualization, that's what makes this so revolutionary for understanding early development.
Okay, so let's talk about accuracy then, because that sounds amazing, but how good is it really?
Well, this is what truly stands out and makes it a potential game changer. The accuracy is extraordinary. In their tests, rigorous testing, the system could align its predictions with MRI frames it had never seen before, unseen data, to within an average of 3.1 millimeters.
3.1 millimeters. How small is that in context?
Okay, think about this. That's smaller than a single grain of rice. Yeah. And when you're talking about a developing fetus, where tiny, tiny variations can have really significant implications, that level of precision is, it's basically unprecedented
Hmm.
and critically important. They benchmarked its performance too, comparing it against existing models.
Yeah.
For instance, they tested it against something called Smell. Smell is a model designed for infants, after birth, not for unborn children in that cramped, constantly changing environment of the womb.
Right, completely different context.
Completely. And even when the researchers cleverly tried to make it comparable, they actually shrank the Smell model by 75% to kind of simulate a fetal size.
Mm.
Even then, MIT's Fetal SMPL still proves significantly more precise at reconstructing these fetal MRIs.
So a clear improvement.
Oh, definitely. Not just marginal. A real leap in capability for this specific, tricky application. And these successful reconstructions, they were achieved for fetuses between 24 and 37 weeks of gestation.
Which is a really crucial developmental window.
Exactly. A period where a lot of important development happens and where diagnosis can be particularly challenging.
That precision, it's critical, isn't it? Because that translates directly into real practical benefits for doctors, like right now.
Absolutely.
Doctors can use this incredibly accurate modeling to measure key health indicators, things like head size, abdominal size, with an exactitude that just wasn't possible before. And this lets them, crucially, compare those measurements against the established healthy developmental ranges, but with much greater confidence.
Right.
Think about a situation where maybe there's a subtle asymmetry, a deviation of just, I don't know, a millimeter or two in head circumference, maybe limb length. That tiny difference might indicate an early neurological issue or some kind of localized growth restriction. Before fetal SMPL, something that small could easily be missed, even by an experienced radiologist, or maybe dismissed as just being within the margin of error of doing it manually.
Yeah, the noise in the measurement.
Exactly. And that could delay crucial interventions. But now, with 3.1 millimeter precision, doctors gain that confidence, that clarity to spot these early markers. And that could potentially lead to proactive management or more specialized tests, things that could be absolutely life-changing for the baby and the family.
It really could. It moves beyond just seeing something to understanding its exact dimension, its context. It gives clinicians a much, much sharper view and the confidence to act earlier, more effectively.
So it's already powerful, but what about the scope? What exactly does it model right now, and what's coming next?
That's a great question. What's fascinating is that while the current version of fetal SMPL is already so powerful, it is primarily designed to capture the external body shape and the overall posture.
Okay.
So importantly, that means it doesn't yet model the internal organs, things like the lungs, the liver, muscles. Those aren't part of the current model.
Ah, I see.
But the future plans for this technology are incredibly exciting. They could expand its capabilities just exponentially. The researchers are already planning to expand it into what they call volumetric modeling.
Volumetric modeling, meaning?
Meaning future versions would be able to track the development of those internal organs as well. Just imagine the potential there. Being able to precisely monitor the growth, the formation of a baby's heart, lungs, kidneys, even brain structures, not just their outside shape.
That would be revolutionary.
It really would. This could open the door to detecting an even broader, more complex range of conditions before birth. Things like congenital heart defects, early signs of respiratory problems, maybe even subtle issues in brain development. Having the ability to monitor those internal systems with the same kind of precision they've achieved for the external shape, that would truly redefine prenatal diagnosis. It would allow for interventions that right now are just unimaginable.
You can just picture the sheer complexity of trying to manually track all of that, internal and external, from those flat 2D MRI slices, especially when the baby's moving around in such a, well, cramped space.
Incredibly difficult.
Ying-Cheng Liu, who's an MIT PhD student and the lead author on the study, they put it perfectly. They said, and I'm quoting here, estimating fetal shape and motion has always been difficult, especially because of the cramped environment in the womb. That really drives home why an AI solution, something that can process all that data and figure out the 3D model from these complex 2D inputs, why it's not just helpful, but truly revolutionary here.
Exactly. It takes a problem that's almost fundamentally beyond human capacity for that level of precise, consistent interpretation, and it provides a clear, measurable solution.
So this raises a really important question for us then. Beyond the immediate clinical wins, what are the wider implications for prenatal care generally, maybe even for medicine as a whole?
Well, experts who weren't actually involved in this specific study are already starting to talk about that broader impact. For instance, Dr. Kehoe M. over at Harvard Medical School, he highlighted that this technology could significantly enhance the diagnostic value of fetal MRI just by making it easier and more precise to interpret, which is huge in itself.
Right.
But he also pointed out a more profound research opportunity. He thinks it could help us finally uncover how early fetal movement, those little kicks and shifts, specifically relates to brain development.
Oh, interesting. The movement-brain connection.
It's a fascinating area of neuroscience.
Yeah.
We know movement is crucial for developing neural pathways, right? And with something like fetal SMPL, researchers could get unprecedented insights into that really intricate dance between physical activity and brain maturation while the baby is still in the womb.
Wow.
Are certain movement patterns signs of healthy brain development? Could we maybe detect early signs of neurological differences just by observing subtle changes in motion?
Yeah.
This tech could give us the tools to actually answer those kinds of questions.
And the potential impact stretches even further, doesn't it? It sounds like it goes way beyond just the prenatal period.
Absolutely. Sergi Puyades, who's an associate professor at University Grenoble Alpes, he pointed out another incredibly exciting aspect. It's the fundamental compatibility of this fetal body model with the existing body models we have for adults and infants.
Ah, so it connects up.
Precisely. It's not just about looking at a fetus in isolation. It's about creating this continuous, coherent understanding of human form and motion across the lifespan. Pugaz believes this compatibility could help researchers track human growth and motion all the way through life. And that's an unprecedented opportunity for medical science.
Track it across a lifetime.
Yeah, imagine being able to model and understand the subtle changes in posture, gait, even internal organ development, right from viability in the womb through childhood growth spurts into adulthood and even through the process of aging.
Wow, the data from that.
It's exactly. This integrated longitudinal data could just revolutionize how we understand developmental disorders, how certain conditions evolve over time, how aging affects mobility, even how factors really early in life contribute to health much later on. It paints a picture of a truly holistic understanding of human physiology from the very beginning to the very end.
It's clear that, while more testing is needed, obviously, across larger, more diverse groups to really validate it everywhere, there's really no doubt that fetal SMPL represents a truly pioneering milestone. By merging this cutting-edge AI with prenatal imaging, it's not just about getting slightly better pictures. It feels like a fundamental shift in how we understand, how we monitor, and maybe how we intervene in life's earliest, most formative stages. This isn't just a new tool. It feels like a whole new lens, a lens through which we can observe the very beginning of human experience with just astonishing clarity. So this deep dive has really shown us how MIT's fetal SMPL is moving us away from those challenging, sometimes ambiguous, flat images and towards dynamic, highly precise 3D models of life in its very earliest stages. It offers just unprecedented clarity, real insight into fetal development, bringing us closer, really, to understanding that miracle of life than we've ever been before.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this technology directly tackles some of the most fundamental challenges in prenatal diagnosis. It could potentially give doctors and parents, too, a kind of new peace of mind,
Yeah.
And a significantly sharper view of life's earliest stages. It really moves us from educated guesses and sort of broad estimates to precise measurements and dynamic visualizations, which, well, it raises an important question for the future, doesn't it?
It really does. Imagine the possibilities when we can not only see but accurately track human development right from the earliest stages in the womb, then through infancy, and potentially all the way through adulthood. What new understanding of, well, overall health or personalized aging, or even the very origins of human movement and maybe cognition, what might we unlock when we can trace that entire intricate arc of life with such consistent clarity and precision? It really makes you wonder about the ripple effects, the long term impact of a breakthrough like this.